Welcome back to the B Series. In today's episode we speak to Caity Mattinson, a professional international rugby player currently playing for the Worcester Warriors. She's played for England but currently representing Scotland. She'll be talking about how opportunities are growing in a male-dominated sport. Over to Caity.
Hi, I'm Caity, rugby player from Worcester Warriors and for Scotland. My experiences playing in the Women's Premiership has changed massively. I was 17, 18 when I started playing at Darlington Mountain Park. I was up at University of Newcastle, and I actually think the first few seasons we paid subs and paid for all our kit and even some of our travel and stuff like that. Nothing was really looked after. So it's grown massively in the time that I've been playing in the Premiership. So now we're so well supported at Worcester. We have access to incredible facilities, incredible support from coaching staff, like medical, strength and conditioning, nutrition, like everything that you'd expect for professional sport to be supported by. Worcester provide for us, which is amazing, and we are like heading now into a semi-professional, professional era, which is kind of mind-blowing how fast it's grown and expanded. Worcester's been one of those clubs that's like really pushing women's rugby. All of our rugby now is done within the main stadium. We're always on the stadium pitch. We have access to exactly the same facilities as the men do, and that's something that the club's fought really hard to make sure that we have kind of those equal opportunities. I haven't actually been at Worcester for a particularly long time. This is only my second season, but I know from speaking to the other girls that it was very different being on those back pitches with fairly poor floodlights and rain muddy pitch compared to now being on our first team pitch all of the time. It makes a huge difference because that's where we play week in, week out as well, and being in the stadium all the time gives us an opportunity to actually build a crowd, and we can start to get fans in, which is really exciting, and hopefully that'll grow the game as well. We have to have people watching to be able to justify that kind of thing, but it's really exciting how fast it's moving in that direction. I think the big kind of difference between where the men's programme at and where the women's is now is just the level of professionalism. So because the men are all full-time professional, then their training day looks very different to ours. Like, I still work full-time as a community coach, and we have lots and lots of players on our team who still work full-time on lots of different things. We've got physios, we've got midwives, we've got police officers, like real broad spectrum of things. So our training times are restricted to when people finish work. So we have access to the stadium from about 3:30, but some people won't get there till 6 because they've worked all day. That's probably the biggest difference now, is that although we have all the same facilities, we are restricted on time because we're not paid full time to be there just yet. It can be challenging to balance full-time work and playing at a semi-professional level, professional level. For me, it's about the fact that I really love rugby and I love being there and I really enjoy it, and it's just kind of, you get used to it, to be honest. You get used to that routine of oh, I'm done my work day, but my day's actually not probably done until 9:30 or whenever it is that we end up leaving the club in the evening. And balancing it is difficult, but it's making sure that you're still enjoying it, you're still doing everything you need to do to recover as well, and having time to yourself. For me, it's managing expectations as well. Naturally, I'd be someone who would spend every minute of every day trying to get better at what I love doing, but you can't always do that and still be able to perform, because I'd just be absolutely shattered all the time. And I think there's a couple of players in the squad, like Lydia Thompson particularly, who's always looking out for people and making sure that they're prioritising the things that have to be done and making sure they look after themselves as well. So yeah, there's definitely a couple of experienced girls around that help with that massively. There has been times when I have felt discriminated, again, in the male industry, not particularly in rugby. I find that rugby's always been a really supportive environment, and the guys that I've worked with in rugby have always been really supportive. Last year I ended up, during the pandemic, working in a factory for a little while, and I found that really challenging. I was the only woman on the factory floor. I was considerably younger than everyone else there, and also there was little things all of their calendars had pictures of naked women on, and I instantly feel intimidated when you go into an environment like that, where it obviously isn't that accepting, or that it's not promoting equality when that sort of thing is openly on the walls. So it was only 3 months, thankfully, but it was a real challenging time where that was probably the most significant time that I've felt that. A few tips that I would give to someone who works in a male-dominated industry are, firstly, not being afraid to challenge. Like, if you do feel like you're in a position to be able to be like, actually that's not acceptable and this is why. The second thing would probably just be like, actually if you're really, really good at what you do, then like, it becomes much easier to make those challenges. So making sure that like actually everything that you can control and that is within your powers you're able to do, so that there is no question and there's no doubt that you've earned that position of whatever it is. I coach a little bit with the under-16s academy at Worcester, and the staff there have always been amazing, but definitely with the boys, like I've had to earn a little bit of their respect, and now that I have, they're absolutely amazing. But that it definitely comes through like treating them really well, but also trying to be really good at what I do.
It's key to support diversity in all industries and roles. Until next time, stay diverse with the B Series, where you will find useful career advice.